Platinum Heroes Protoss. The Protoss Smite that did just take down Vindicta. But how is he looking in PvZ? We're here to find out. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the French Protoss player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is ShaDoWn. And spawning in the top right-hand corner. Ooh. Going for a 15 hatch. You'd love to see it. We have the American Zerg player representing clan DGIT. Diglett? I didn't know. I'm not too familiar with the clan. It is Silky. The returning legend himself. Going for a 15-15. Clearly a fan of Eric. Makes plenty of sense. And again, I haven't seen Silky compete too much. I want to say he returned for the qualifiers for ESL Masters Summer. Like, it's not like Silky has been completely inactive. He pops up from time to time. Every now and then. I want to quickly check to see what his recent matches have been. Just quickly diving into Wikipedia to figure that out. Okay, so before today, he played once in June, and then between June and March there was nothing. So he played in the NorCal offline tournament. Oh, actually did fairly well for himself. Faced off against Australia in the grand finals in that local tournament. Before that, he played in December of 2022. And yeah, he's been very sporadic. He's been very sporadic ever since 2020. So he retired at the end of 2020. And yeah, he has been, you know, very inconsistent since then. So it's great to see him coming back from time to time. And yeah, we'll see how he can perform here against ShaDoWn. I do think that in his prime, I do think that in Silky's prime, he would probably be the favorite in this series. But nowadays, I'm not too sure. So I'm curious. Very curious. I used to be a really big Silky fan back in the day. Big Silky fan, as we do have a Stargate opener coming out from ShaDoWn. And Silky with that 15 hatch, by the way, I should also explain that for the people that haven't seen that before. It does mean that you can get your natural base up and running without the probe disrupting you. So the opener that Silky just did shows me and shows us that he's keeping up with the current meta. Because the 15-15 is very new, and it has only really risen in popularity in the past like couple of months. So it shows that Silky is keeping up, and he's actually like actively playing, which is really cool to see. Meanwhile, Stargate opener is upon us. Should be for the Oracle first from ShaDoWn. Nothing too crazy. Oracle is on the way. And yeah, everything's looking relatively normal outside of the initial opener from Silky. Like, he's still getting a third base, he's still droning up as well. We have link speed on the way as we speak. We're pulling back into gas. And yeah, he's just trying to get a read on what is happening. The first Oracle does reveal itself, so he's aware of the Stargate opener at least. And he also gets eyes on the third base. A really interesting third base location here from Silky. You don't often see players take the linear third. Or see Protoss players take the linear third. Really interesting. It's a little bit more off to the wayside. It can be taken advantage of because it's on the low ground here compared to this ramp. So a really odd choice here from ShaDoWn. But you can wall this off, and you can, I guess, kind of secure or like turtle up a little bit easier when you go like this. You'd be very defensive, which is kind of the read that I'm getting. But before we really get too ahead of ourselves, the first Oracles are coming across the map. The Queens are in position. No Spore at the third base, but there is a Spore here in the natural and the main. Lings are able to keep up with the Adepts, so we do force a recall. And ShaDoWn, as he attempted to skill check Silky, he passes the skill check. That's really impressive stuff. Queens are in position, Lings as well. Silky takes minimal losses. And yeah, ShaDoWn, he's fully walling off. Oof. It's fully walling off. We have the Twilight Council. We have the Forge on the way. And Silky isn't... Oh, sorry, ShaDoWn isn't done. He has made that third Oracle. Is zooming across the map as we speak. Is looking to do some more damage. The Adepts once again shading into that third. Or into that natural. One Queen will fall. Oh, and the Lings are a little bit late to react as well. Drones aren't going down. 3 drones for 2 Adepts. Not a bad trade, but we did also lose a Queen as well to these Oracles. The Oracles are still alive. They're still sharking around, looking for more damage. Queens are trying to keep up with the rotation. Can we force a cancel on this base? Doesn't go for it. He goes for the natural instead. The Queens weren't able to keep up. As Silky does lose another 2 workers. We do have a 4th base being taken as Silky takes his own 4th. For ShaDoWn. More Stalkers on the way. And we're actually going for a 2nd Forge. Interesting. So with the 2nd Forge, we're going to have a pretty solid 1-1 and later on 2-2 timing. ShaDoWn heavily reliant here on these gateway upgrades. With that, he's going to be delaying his tech. He's going to be delaying his robotics bay, I should say, and robot production. Unfortunately for Silky, his Lings are across the map. I say unfortunately, ShaDoWn actually doesn't pressure it. And now he's going to be losing quite a lot. The Ling runby does come in. Shield battery is going to go down. That was a kill, not a cancel. Doesn't quite get a cancel on the base itself, but does force ShaDoWn to back off. So a very worthwhile run by. Meanwhile, Silky's now getting into his roaches. We have +1 melee on the way. Roach speed. We're getting our 4th base fully saturated. 5th on the horizon. And yeah, I've been really impressed. So far, Silky has been able to keep up with ShaDoWn. He does lose a wave of Lings. But that Roach army is getting quite large. And because we delayed robot production, I feel like Silky's actually in a better position. There we go. Banelings are being morphed in. We should be seeing some Ravagers soon as well. Silky looking to max out. Meanwhile, that's a kill on the 5th base, not a cancel. Oof. A big loss here for Silky. Ling runback comes in, but we did have a Warping available. Slow Lots forces back. Bearing in mind that they are slow, charge was delayed in favor of the 2nd Forge and in favor of the upgrades. It is on the way. And Silky looking to max. I appreciate that he actually hasn't made any Ravagers. It's just pure Ling Bane Roach. See Silky just forging his path through all this creep. A stasis trap is going to be going off on these Lings. He's going to be providing ShaDoWn a lot of room. Meanwhile, the Baneling runby is waddling on in. Do we react in time? We do not! No reaction. The mineral line does go down. At the same time, we do see Silky just pushing his way through in towards the 4th. But he has to back off, and always Zealot runby is going to do a lot of damage here at the 4th base. Silky has to respond with his entire army. Oh, and that is going to expose the 5th for a 2nd time. Can we get a cancel this time? We can. Do cancel the hatchery. Silky on the back foot. Zealot runby heading towards that 3rd. Not the best Baneling connections, unfortunately. But we do clean up these Zealots. But ShaDoWn is still doing a lot of damage. What ShaDoWn is doing is just containing Silky here to 4 bases. Silky, in a way, is being starved out. He needs another hatchery soon, as he's behind in bases. Another Zealot runby comes in. Silky being pulled apart. 9 more drones go down. Oof. Silky taking a massive economic blow. it may be worth double expanding, but on a map like Royal Blood, it's really difficult to get these fringe bases up. ShaDoWn once again is diving in, and once again should be forcing a cancel. Oh, well, there we go. We do end up forcing the army back. We do hold on to the hatchery for now. The run back does get interrupted. ShaDoWn working on a 6th base. Oof. Looking to be up on 2 bases. Banelings are rolling on in. The Colossus have finally arrived. Banelings are trying to squeeze into that mineral line, but no, they can't make it through. And this is an overextension from Silky, and this may just be it. He bleeds out a lot of units, and he is going to trigger a counterattack with Colossi. Yeah, this base is not going to get up and running. He's going to try to. He times on forward. He's going to try and focus down the Colossi. Doesn't quite get them, though. ShaDoWn is able to reinforce, push on through. Like, initially, Silky was doing well, but GG gets called, and ShaDoWn takes game number 1. GG. Initially, Silky was doing well. Things started to take a turn for the worst when he lost his 5th base the first time. It's a bit of a snowball. It's like a domino effect. When you lose the base the first time, it makes it that much more difficult to get it up and running after that. Just because your opponent, because they denied your 5th base, they already have momentum going their way. They have map control as well. Trying to expand is a difficult task, and yeah, Silky, he was just kind of choked out there, contained to 4 bases, and yeah, even though we saw some pretty nice run-bys, like Ling run-bys and Baneling run-bys, it just wasn't enough to really overcome that deficit. GG. As we are going to be getting into game number 2. Number 2. Meanwhile, it looks like the upper semifinals has begun? Question mark. Let me just double check. It looks like while we're in the middle of this series, and of course we will continue with it, it looks like the upper semis has begun. The TVT that we have been expecting, it is going to be Gumiho versus Clem. And it looks like a lot of casters are going to be covering that. It looks like Pig, Steadfast, and Chicken Man will all be covering that upper semifinals. Meanwhile, we are focusing on the lower portion of the bracket instead. Here we go. What happened to cause Silky to leave the camels? That's a different Silky. God damn it. I've been trying to emphasize the Emperor Fuble. There's 2 Silkies. There's a Chinese Silky, which is the camel, and there's the American Silky, which is the one that we've been casting. Shaking my head. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gress Farm, we have the French Protoss player representing the Platinum Heroes, leading the series 1-0. It is ShaDoWn. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gress Farm, we have his opponent. We have the American Zerg player, the returning Zerg, after quite a retirement and quite a long time stepping away from the game, but now returning for at least a little bit. It is Silky. And yes, there were 2 Silkies. There were 2 Silkies, the Chinese Silky and the American one. Fun fact, they both did play in an ESL Open Cup Asia back in the day, back in 2020. I remember casting that with Yaku. It was the Battle of the Silkies. And we even made the joke that the loser would have to change their name. The Chinese Silky did win in the end. And shortly thereafter, the American Silky retired. So Dominance was asserted and there could only be one. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Feels bad as we are getting into the second game, and oh boy. Overall, I was really impressed with how Silky was able to play out game one. With his harassment, with his ability to keep up, at least initially, when we were getting into the mid game. But as we saw as the game went on, Silky was just, being in a way starved out and couldn't quite keep up with the movements, with the aggression of ShaDoWn. But a lot of that also came down to Royal Blood. Royal Blood is, I would say, one of the easier maps to contain the Zerg player to their 4 bases. We've seen it in PvZ, we've seen it in TvZ as well. We see that quite often when players like Cure or Bjorn or Maru even go up against top tier Zerg players where they just completely shut them down and starve them out. But now we're loading into Gresvan. Gresvan, a much larger map, a map that is known for its more macro play, more late game scenarios. I do think that it's going to be a little bit easier here for both players to get additional bases up and running. But we'll see. We'll see how ShaDoWn plays this out as well. Now he goes for the follow-up. As the first adept does rock up, and it's going to be able to get one drone kill. One drone does go down. For nada, Fabi, for nada. With Stargate Opener, it's going to be an Oracle first, as to be expected. Should be seeing multiple Oracles behind this. In game one, we saw a triple Oracle Opener, and we should be seeing something similar here in game number 2. This time, Silky didn't go for the 15 hatch, and he was punished for it. He was forced to take the unnatural natural instead. It's a little bit of a more awkward base layout as one drone does go down. Can we get a second? We cannot. Only one drone. He handling himself quite well with the death of the first adept. Lings move out across the map, and we're going to be looking to try to catch the adept that escaped, and it looks like, is going to be able to get away. Third base is going to be delayed. The Lings testing the wall, keeping the adepts at home. Meanwhile, there is no Spore here at the third base. One more drone goes down. A lot of hull damage was dealt, and ShaDoWn, he goes for a second Oracle, not into a third Oracle, but into a Phoenix instead. The target firing at a Silky does focus down that one probe. Gonna be delaying the third for a little bit longer. Does force that delay. Meanwhile, the Phoenix does rock up as well, revealing itself. And the Phoenix does pose a pretty big threat here. It does mean that if the Adepts and the Oracles move out, the Phoenix can help CC and crowd control one of these queens. We can try and snowball from there as well. So Silky has to be very careful with his army movement, with his queen movement. Has to be careful not to be caught out. The Oracles dive in towards the third. Oof. 2 more drones go down. We have a third Oracle coming out behind this. And we have a bit of a later Twilight Council in Forge. They're still on the way, just again a little bit delayed just because we invested so much into the Stargate production. Into that additional Phoenix. Meanwhile, a little bit of a miss rally here from ShaDoWn. He will lose both of those Oracles. Did run right past all those queens. Speaking of, oh my god, ShaDoWn almost loses the third Oracle as well. A little bit of unfortunate pathing, does get punished for it. And this is going to give Silky quite a lot of breathing room. It's going to allow him to drone up quite heavily. So far, he hasn't really lost too many workers at all. 7 workers in total, but for 2 Oracles, worth it. Things keep everything back at home. 4th base is being taken. If you remember, in game 1, ShaDoWn was taking his 4th base at the same time as Silky. This time, because of the early game, You can see Silky able to get his up and running much more easier, much more faster. +1 range is on the way. Roach Warren as well. Oh, this +1 range, we may be done droning. We can hit a very strong timing here with our roaches, with these upgrades. 73 drones may be all we need. Yeah, here we go. We're just making nothing but roaches. This is very common on Gressman. It's the Damaga style of play. It's very mid-game oriented. You just saturate 3 bases. In this case, a little bit more than 3 base saturation from Silky, and we can make nothing but roaches and Ling Bane, typically. But there's no Baneling Nest, so it's just going to be pure roaches here from Silky. I imagine with links to reinforce as well. And Silky's gonna hit quite hard. In a way, this is all in because there's no additional tech. Like, there's no infestation pit, there's no hive for like vipers, for adrenal glands, no hydroden, no lurker den, no spire. This is designed to kill the Protoss player, and if it doesn't at least cripple the economy, then Silky would be in a really difficult position. Love it. Silky keeping the majority of his army hidden. Keeping it in the back line, and here we go. We're going to be moving out across the map. We are pulling the trigger. Don't have that many Ravagers. We have a couple to our name. ShaDoWn already going to be able to kite this back towards the 4th base, where there is a shield battery ready and waiting. Cannon as well. Looks like one of the oracles was rebuilt. The overcharge putting in a lot of work in the back line. Biles are going to be connecting, but ShaDoWn is holding on. Silky has to wait out that overcharge, backs off, reinforces, and pushes out once again. And he's taking down a lot of these Stalkers. Charge isn't done either. I do think that he's gaining a lot of ground. It takes a couple of his piles to the face, but regardless, he takes down all these shield batteries, and he's getting on top of the Stalkers. It looks like he may have enough. Biles not quite connecting. The Queens do rock up as well to help reinforce. Cannon doing quite a lot. Charge still not done. Oh, we're rallying actually into the natural. I love this. I kind of like this. We avoid the 3rd base. We get into the mineral line in the natural. We're diving into the main base as well. At the same time, Silky pulling back just for a moment to just keep on trying to break this center base. Shield battery doing a lot right now. Finally, it does go down, but it took a lot of roaches to make that happen. ShaDoWn, he is holding. He lost 15 probes, but he can afford to lose probes. It's not the biggest of deals. And Silky backs off. He's droning. It looks like he's recognized he cannot end the game. He dealt some damage, sure, but I don't think he realizes how far ahead ShaDoWn is in the worker counts. We have another base finishing up. ShaDoWn up to almost 80 probes. He's making 5 probes at a time. My god. It doesn't take too long to rebuild at all. Silky is close to maxed. It's +1 melee on the way, Baneling Nest as well. Here we go, he's setting up a surround and he's coming in from behind. Link may be done, but we do expose those zealots. Yeah, and the Links are able to get another surround as well. Best case scenario here for Silky, completely almost swallows up the army. He should be able to clean this up. Very few Stalkers survive. This is a fight that Silky needed. Like, thankfully for Silky, like, he wasn't droning, and ShaDoWn assumed he was. So he pushed out, he exposed himself. Didn't have the defender's advantage this time, didn't have the shield batteries. And now ShaDoWn is on the back foot. Oh, Lings, they do go for run by Banelings as well. ShaDoWn was pre-set up for this. He did pre-spread his army. Oh, Biles are going to be connecting with these shield batteries as well. Banelings are rolling on forward. Bailing speed still isn't done, but they're getting in. They are getting involved. And it looks like Silky has done it. He's fighting back in this series. He's avenging Miguelito. Charges are coming in, and they're going to be forcing back these Ravagers at least. But again, the center base has been broken. That is the damage that Silky was looking for. 24 probes are killed. Silky did lose a couple of drones across the map, actually. It looks like there was a bit of a run-by. And ShaDoWn is still ahead economically. To be fair, still isn't over. Silky is ahead in the army supplies, looking for... I was going to say another surround, but no, he goes for a run-by instead. Ooh, no stack defenses at this fourth. The Immortal is exposed. And it will go down. A massive lane counterattack is just wreaking havoc in this mineral line, and it looks like ShaDoWn is on his last legs. Lane counterattack, not able to slip into the natural. But with this amount of roaches and with the links to reinforce, we should have enough to deal with this Gateway army. Colossus is on the way, which will help. But by the time it comes out, these Zealots will be cleaned up, and then we can just dive on top of these Stalkers. Baileys, they come in from behind, they take down the mineral line, even crash into the Stalkers as well, for good measure. Just throw out a bio, because why not? Why not, man? Why not? And with the reinforcements, Silky should finally be able to break the army itself. I know that ShaDoWn has been able to keep up economically for a really long time. But that all ends here. Another bailing run by. ShaDoWn does overextend. GG gets called. Silky takes game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. We're going to the ace match. We're going all the way to game number 3. Let's go. I'm like, Ga. Ga, papi, Ga. Hello, Ordi. Hello, Nino. Niño. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Welcome. Welcome to the stream. You've been missing some pretty insane matches. So far, this is only our second series of the broadcast, but we casted ShaDoWn versus Vindicta earlier, which went all the way to the ace match, and now we're casting this series, also going all the way to the ace match as well. Let's go. We are going the distance. Oh my! Oh, this is gonna get weird. As the ace match is gonna be taking place on Neo Humanity, the smallest map in the map pool. Oh boy, this is gonna get wild. This is gonna get rowdy. Uh-oh. Now, we have seen ShaDoWn proxy before. If you remember, he proxied against Vindicta on Gressfan in game 3. I did proxy then. I don't know how aggressive he's willing to be here in PvZ. If he's willing to go for a Twilight Council opener for Glaive Adepts, or go for a proxy as well. Even a charge all in. There are a lot of possibilities, but I just don't know the tendencies of our Protoss player in this matchup. But here we go. We're getting into game 3 and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Neo Humanity. We have the French Protoss player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is ShaDoWn. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have... Oh my god! We have a 12 pool. We have the American Zerg player, currently teamless. The returning Zerg, tying up the series 1-1 in that last game. It is Silky. Really, this is the only way it can end. A drone is being sent out across the map as we speak for the proxy hatch. ShaDoWn does delay the natural base, does dip in, confirms the 12 pool, ShaDoWn is aware of what's going on. Should be looking to wall off. I'm curious if Silky... Yeah, Silky is setting up here with his drone. So it looks like he can opt to go for the proxy hatch, or he can opt to try and throw down the hatchery here and like disrupt the wall. I'm really curious as to what Silky plans to do here with this drone. Yep, there it is. Hatchery is thrown down as a part of the wall. ShaDoWn goes for a safety pylon. Is going to be denied that cyber core, and this is kind of the best case scenario here for Silky. Lings are flooding across the map as we speak. Because of this hatchery placement, the surface area on this gateway is insane. We're going to be able to get a full surround on this and focus it down. We're not transitioning out of this. We are not droning at all. Zealot does come out in time, but again, we do have a lot of area to work with here on this gateway. Ling's going to be dancing here with these Zealots, or with the Zealot. Looking for a surround. One Ling does go down. Up. But the rest of the Lings have arrived. Boys have to be pulled here to help support this Zealot. The gateway taking a lot of hits, but the second Zealot comes out and Silky has to back off. He has to respect them. Yeah, Silky's droning behind this. He's taking another hatchery. Oh, he is going to find a surround here on the first Zealots. Very nice control, but it did cost him a lot. Meanwhile, the shield battery has completed. Queen is on the way. But yeah, Silky is droning behind this. Like, he is attempting to transition. Can he get the gateway? I don't think he can. He just doesn't really have the link count for it. He does manage to slip into the main, though. He's going to be able to force some lost mining time. He gets surrounded. Ooh. Didn't quite have the control to keep those Lings alive. And I don't know what this Queen plans to do. Yeah. I was really perplexed when I saw the Queen in production. We get an inject, I guess. We get an inject. Things arrive, but the shield battery is done. Oh, we're going to be able to get a surround on this pylon, but the shield battery will keep it alive. One probe does fall. The A move is awkward. And to be fair, I guess now that I look at it, I was really curious. The creep from this hatchery actually delayed the Nexus. So because of that, ShaDoWn has been stuck on one base. Silky is able to take a, I wouldn't say an economic lead right now, but like he can once he breaks free from the supply block. As he is droning as heavily as possible. Now the turns are about to table. This is going to be a scary moment. This is the downside of 12 pooling, is there is a moment where you don't have Ling speed, where you don't have a lot of Queens or Lings defensively, and this force is soon about to move out across the map. Oh, the Lings are going to be able to buy a little bit of time, but no, the Lings go down. And yeah, this is gonna hit quite hard. Okay, so it's only gonna be 2 adepts. The Stalker stays at home, the Zealot stays at home as well. So this is best case scenario for Silky. Makes a wave of Lings, heals some Queens, he should be okay. Meanwhile, ShaDoWn is double expanding, taking his natural and his third at the same time. Again, ShaDoWn is more than willing to do something like this. Blink is on the way. And with this fast blink, or with this prioritization of blink, he's going to be able to hit quite a timing here with his upgrade, with this 3 gateways finishing up as well. He can actually be quite aggressive. Before that happens, a Bathing Nest is thrown down. It looks like Silky is going for a massive Bane Bust. The Lings have been revealed. Uh-oh. Did he see? Does ShaDoWn know? He's recalling back home. The Lings are racing across the map as we speak. Silky is going all in. He's going for a follow-up Bane Bust. We're going to have a lot of Stalkers at home to defend. Shield Battery is ready here at the 3rd. Shield Battery at the natural. It takes a lot of Banelings to take down a Stalker. It's going to take a lot of Banelings to bust down this wall. He's going to try and go for it. He's going to try and surround the Stalker army, but we do see him pull back in time. Blink is done. And the Baileys are waddling on in. They want to try to take down this shield battery, take down the pylon. It looks like we will. Shield battery is depowered. And these Lings are going to be able to clean up these Stalkers. Stalkers are not the best unit against Lings. They're tanky, they're beefy, but they have such a low attack rate. Oof. And it looks like the third base is going to be broken. Again, ShaDoWn is preserving everything that he can, but the mineral line will fall. The pylon is under threat. He's gonna try and push out to defend, but they can't really keep up here with these Lings. We have the full surround. The Nexus is gonna go down. We can see ShaDoWn trying to pull the boys, trying to hold on to this base, but it's not going to be enough. Oof, the base does fall. And behind this, Silky. He's continuing to pump out Lings. He's not transitioning. I actually think this is really smart. He's not transitioning at all. He's just still banking up more Lings across the map. ShaDoWn is trying to tech up. He's working on +1, charge, and he's rebuilding his third. Lings are here to stop him. Oh, and Silky now has eyes on this. He sees how undersaturated the third base is. I do think this counterattack was a mistake. A lot of Stalkers are going down. Silky is still all in. And ShaDoWn just found out the hard way. He is down to 4 Stalkers and 4 Zealots. Barely anything. Now, the Templar Archives did just finish, so we can morph in some Archons, some High Templar to morph into Archons, which can be pretty impactful. Especially against this Ling main army. There we go. The High Templar are on the way. The first Archon is soon about to morph in. Oh, but the Baileys do crash on 4. The wall, no longer a wall. Lings get a surround on these Stalkers. The Baileys actually turn back around for a moment. Silky having a hard time figuring out what he wants. He's going for the mineral line. The Baileys are not going to make it. They're trying to. They're waddling on in. Overcharge is popped. We're going to detonate on some of these probes, but ShaDoWn does a really good job at preserving his worker count. He does save the majority of his workers. The Lings are being cleaned up. At the same time, the Lings are deflected here at the third. I do think that this wasn't the best execution of this attack from Silky. And ShaDoWn is holding on. He's he is defending. He is surviving. Again, it looked like Silky wasn't too sure what he wanted to deal with or how he wanted to attack. And now he's in a really rough place. Especially with this Archon. Here we go, the Baileys, they waddle on in. They need to do damage. They do crash into these Zealots. And it looks like he's breaking the army. Oh, we're trying to warp in whatever we can. That was a good trade for Silky. He cleaned up a lot of Zealots. He got the Archon. Getting ready for a second wave. Wall, no longer a wall. A couple of Lings do flood in. The shield battery wasn't replaced, so damage is being done here in the main. Meanwhile, another Baneling run by, or another push heading towards the third. Third is looking very exposed. ShaDoWn is being pulled apart. He's just unable to split up his army. And the third base is going to get broken. Banelings are waddling on in. A shield battery goes down. Cannon as well. Oh, the probes. The probes, papi. As once again, the Lings do focus down that Nexus. But no, they want the Stalkers. They can get both. They can get both. The Nexus does fall. And Silky just doesn't stop the all-in, papi. He doesn't stop. He can't stop. He won't stop. as he gets another surround, cleans up the Zealots. ShaDoWn being so greedy, taking that third base. Is going to be cancelled. Oh, and as the Stalkers blink backwards, they do expose the wall. The pylons go down, the gateways are broken, they are depowered, and it looks like Silky has finally done it. It's been 11 minutes. It's been a very long all-in. But he has done it. Shield Battery is doing what it can, but Shield Battery is going to be going down. He may have retired, but he's still got it. GG gets called, and Silky takes the series 2-1, advancing on to the semifinals. GG. Oh my god, ShaDoWn was so greedy. I mean, to be fair, he almost got away with that greed of just like taking his third base as quickly as possible. Oh my god, taking up as well into that Templar Archives, into Archons, where he was only ever able to make one Archon, if you remember. He just didn't really have the space or the room to make more than that. Oh. But yeah, GG, well played. Silky will overcome his opponents, will overcome ShaDoWn, will avenge Miguelito for his country, for his nation. And now we have our first semifinals match. It is going to be Silky advancing on to face Bjorn. Let's go. Let's go. Let us set that up. It's in the chat. When your opponent opens up the match by putting on clown shoes, you know it's going to be weird. You say clown shoes, I say America shoes, Papi. Let's go. Let's go.